Hello everyone and welcome back to our European Journeyman series with Benfica. We're just about to kick off Season 2 at the club. It's our 4th season overall in this series, and so far we've managed to win 4 competitions after doing the domestic treble last season. Today we'll run through our transfer activity, get through pre-season, and then also take on a brand new final for us to compete in. It's the Supertaça Candido de Oliveira, which is a competition that I am not familiar with whatsoever. Belenenses says the current holders of the tournament. I'm not sure who will be playing. I assume Sporting, given they finished second, but I really don't know how that tournament works at all. So we'll have to see who we take on there. Now, in terms of transfer news, there is quite a bit to tell you about. If we just take a quick look at our transfer history, you'll see we've really not brought anybody in, and that's because we've had no money available whatsoever. So we've been relying on using free transfers. Memphis was a player we'd already agreed to bring in. He's going to do a good job down the left flank. He's had a good time with us at Valencia earlier in this series, but he's been struggling at United ever since. We managed to get him on a free, which is pretty good. And he's also got very low wages, which will certainly help, only 54 grand a week, so that's pretty useful to bring in on the left flank. We also brought in Lazar Markovic. He can play down the right flank, probably about as good as Depay, but with room to develop as well, I think. It's not showing up in his potential ability, but I think he's definitely got some. He's not had the best time either at Liverpool last season. He did manage to get 23 games under his belt, but he left on a free anyway. We've managed to snap him up. The other player I'm quite proud of, he's called Pineda. He is a Mexican centre midfielder, but he is absolutely fantastic. These stats are incredible, and we managed to get him for just £6 million from the Mexican League. An absolute steal of a player who I'd been scouting for a little while. So to get him so cheap is just brilliant. He's got fantastic all-around stats, and he's going to be an excellent addition to our midfield force. Now, the other big bit of transfer news to tell you about is that Victor Lindelof has gone to United for £22 million, rising to £30.5 million. He's worth a lot more than that. I was really annoyed to let him go, but he was kicking up one heck of a fuss for a player who's not that incredible, and could be replaced. Well, it means that instead of letting Jardel go this season, I think Lindelof will go and Jardel will stay in the team despite being 33, 34 this season. Other notable players to leave are Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He went to Celta Vigo for just £1.1 million. He had a release clause that was ridiculously low, so that was just wasted money for the club. That would be my mistake. Batshuayi has also gone £2.5 million. He did finally get a goal for the team towards the end of last season, but he was just no use for us whatsoever. That's a bit more wasted money there. Ederson has gone to Newcastle for £7.5 million. He's worth a lot more than that, but I just wasn't getting it, and he wasn't likely to play, so he's only ever going to lose value, so I thought I'd just let him go while there were teams interested. And the other big one is Nicolas Gaitan. Now, there was a lot of confusion about whether he moved to Atletico Madrid. I just want to clear that up. He did for £21.5 million, and then he was re-signed by Benfica for just £6.25 million. We've then turned another 500k profit on him, so he's been very profitable for the club as a whole, but he also did reasonably well last season, although he didn't play that much, which is why I decided to let him go, because it was a decent amount of money, nearly £7 million. It means we've raised £14.5 million so far this season, which does leave a bit of wiggle room. We've got £12 million in the transfer budget, about 100 grand left in the wage budget, and I would really love to bring in another striker if we can, but they just don't seem to be out there right now. I can't find anybody to bring in that isn't going to cost us about 40-50 million quid for an average sort of striker. So I think at the moment we're going to be stuck with Raul Jimenez, and I have rejected a couple of bids for him, but they were very low bids, about £10 million, so I wouldn't have let him go for that money anyway. But there's definitely still a lot to work out in this transfer window. I am going to think about promoting a lot more youth players next season, because we won all of the major Portuguese competitions quite easily this season. So as long as we've got a very strong starting 11, I'm not really worried about the squad depth, because our backup players can do the job in Portugal quite easily. So that's sort of my thinking at the moment, which is why there aren't that many transfers. But there will hopefully be some new ones. The transfer list generally recycles a bit in August as more players become available. So I'm hoping that as we get through pre-season, I'll be able to bring in 1 or 2 more players. But that is it for this little update. I'll get through the next 4 friendlies to let you know how they get on, and then we will take on that final just before the season kicks off. Well, we are now the other side of pre-season. As you can see, it went very well, all except for the game against Dortmund, where we actually went 4-0 down inside the first hour before coming back with 3 goals in the last half hour and nearly saving the game. Lewis Cook, that was his first game back from that lung injury layoff, and he put in an exceptional performance. We went on to win the 2 games after that as well, and were drawn against Fiorense, the team that we beat in the Portuguese Cup final last season. So a chance for them to get some revenge on us. We'll be going straight into the Champions League at the group stage this season. We're only going to be playing the Fiorense game today. In terms of transfer news, there's nothing to tell you about whatsoever. We haven't brought anybody in. We haven't been able to let anybody go. So the team is as it was before, which is quite frustrating. I've not been able to bring in any strikers. There's just not a single player out there that would add value to our team that I've not really got, and I just don't have the cash to really bring in the kind of players I want to. But you can see the size of the squad is huge, and I think this will be more than enough for us to achieve our objectives this season. Now the Champions League will be as difficult, if not more difficult to win than it was at Valencia here, which is why if I don't get any cash and there's no decent players available because of the league that we're in, I might not stay past the end of this season, because I think it could be limiting in the same way that Valencia were limiting for winning La Liga. I think the Portuguese league is very limiting for trying to win the Champions League. It does take something pretty exceptional to win it in this league, unless I stay here for a decade and start to bring in Brazilian regens. But I don't think that'd be that entertaining a project to take on, and I think I'd rather move somewhere else, maybe to a bit of a step down even, but in a major league, and begin to build a 5-year maybe series at a different club. So let me know in the comments. We've got a season, I think, to sort of see where we want to end up, but let me know in the comments what you think I should do next, because the big jobs aren't coming up that often, and when I apply for them I don't really get them. Well, certainly that was the case when I left Valencia, so it'd be interesting to see where we are now. But let me know what you think would be an interesting challenge and to try next. I think this may be our last season at Benfica, just another 2-year stint at a club before moving on again. But first off, we need to try and win our 4th trophy of our reign at this club and complete the set of Portuguese tournaments. Horta with the corner, pulls it back to Lincoln, edge of the area, into the box. Jimenez with an effort saved. Kubas tries to recover it, finds Jimenez again, and the deflection nearly goes in, but they get it away. Lincoln's corner, into the near post, and Jardel with the header gives us a lead, 1-0 up after half an hour. Free kick for Fiorense as they look for an instant reply, and they've picked it up as well. Bandeira with the header. He's come out of nowhere there. That's their first effort on goal in this game. Well, we're just before half time and we've still not managed to get our lead back as Arke has the ball, sends it forward to Horta. Now Lincoln into Kubas, who's in a good position. He finds Jimenez. Kubas again. Back to Cook. He sends it over to Horta. Now Z Gomez. Out to Arke. Across to Kubas, into Fernandez, who finds the bottom corner. Gedson Fernandez, first goal of the season for him, and he's put us in front right on the stroke of half time. Horta wins the ball, plays it over to Lincoln. He finds Kubas, who's always finding that pocket of space. He charges forward and he's hit the post as well. Z Gomez couldn't get to the follow-up. Horta's free kick, dinked into the middle, and Jardel has been sent tumbling to the ground. It's a foul for Manos, and we've got a penalty to wrap up this final. Penalty is going to be taken by Zed Gomez. He steps up and finds the back of the net for 3-1. That is surely our 4th competition secure, or 4th victory in a competition secure. Markovic making his debut. He loses the ball. He's only just come on. Now Anyos on the attack for Fiorense. Sends it forward, but it should be easily dealt with by Vallejo. Murray sends the ball forward, but he's given it straight to Andrade. This is not the best or most confident passing I've ever seen from our team. Almeida into Keaton. Now Anyos. Tackled by Arke, but he's still got it, Anyos. And Arke at the third time of asking finally wins the ball. Markovic to Jimenez. Now's there Gomez. Back to Horta. He's carrying it forward. Finds Fernandes, who pulls it in, and it's into the back of the net from Horta. 4-1, and that is our victory secure. Well, there's the final whistle. It's finished 4-1 to us. A very good performance from the team, setting up the season well with another piece of silverware. That's our 5th different competition we've won in this series. 4 of them in Portugal. A very, very good performance from the team. It means if we take a quick look at our competitions, we've won something already. We've still got plenty more to go with the Champions League on our table as well. We're going in at the group stage of that in the next episode, and also we will be kicking off our league season as well against Vitoria de Guimarães. And then Estoril Praia are the next team, a newly promoted squad with Belenenses after them, then Fiorense, and then the Champions League kicks off. So it's going to be an interesting episode, something to look forward to. There will of course be more transfer news to tell you about as that happens, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel to see how we get on in that next episode. Drop a like on this video as well if you've enjoyed seeing us win yet another competition. But until next time, see ya.